from the station working for you. This is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
Tonight, 2 women are hospitalized, and the suspect police say shot them is also injured after exchanging gunfire with police. Thanks for joining us here at 11 o'clock. I'm Nicole Griffin. This all happened on the east side of Indianapolis just before noon. WRTV's Troy Washington is talking to neighbors tonight who witnessed what happened.
If they hadn't saw it with their own eyes, these women say they probably wouldn't believe any of what they saw right in their complex on Sunday around noon.
One of the girls was running towards Washington Street that I guess was shooting, or she got shot. I think she was full of blood, and she was running towards Washington Street, and then I seen another young lady running between the buildings there, and one of the girls was right by my door laying on the ground yelling, "My sister's been shot," you know. It was so scary.
Jenny Moore says she heard a few shots.
When it happened, I heard 3 gunshots. I was asleep on the couch.
Nikisha House says she heard 8.
I heard the commotion and kept it going, and once I got a little bit down, I heard the gunshots, and I started fast walking.
IMPD tells us there was a disturbance at Parkway Terrace. That's what brought them to the scene.
I came outside. When I came outside, I seen all these police with guns, and I seen a young man with a handgun.
Investigators say the man with a gun shot at police, and police shot back, hitting him in the arm.
I know that they had canines running for another girl that had ran, and I guess the fight broke out between the girls, and the guy was jumped in it.
There are a lot of stories swirling around the complex, but IMPD would only confirm that 2 women were shot, and the suspect being detained for aggravated assault was also shot, but all are expected to recover.
My nephew was murdered 2 months ago, and it's just all sad.
House is relieved that everyone survived, but she thinks the senseless violence is getting out of hand. Right now, investigators are looking at surveillance and talking with witnesses to figure out the cause of the chaos. Working for you on the east side, Troy Washington, WRTV.
Troy, thank you. New at 11, a homicide investigation is underway after a man was found dead at a northeast side apartment complex. Metro police were called to the 7900 block of Red Mill Drive early Sunday morning around 2:30. The death was later ruled to be a homicide. The victim's identity or age have not been released. New tonight, a search underway for a missing Carmel man. 44-year-old Timothy Royster was last seen wearing a light gray long-sleeved pullover with a salmon-colored underneath shirt, khaki cargo shorts, white Nike hat, glasses, and Adidas shoes. Mr. Royster was last seen around 8:30 Saturday night, leaving the area of Westfield Boulevard on Venice Drive on foot. Call Carmel Police tonight at 317-773-1282 if you see him. There's an investigation happening right now in Howard County after a plane went down in Kokomo, killing 3 people. The crash happened around 11:30 Sunday morning near Glendale Airport. Emergency crews found the plane on fire in a field. There was 1 survivor on board. Authorities have not yet released the names of the victims. And it has been a busy Sunday for firefighters across central Indiana. There were several field and brush fires reported today due to the dry conditions. These photos are from a large field fire in Centerville. People were evacuated from the area as firefighters battled the flames. Bargersville Fire Department also responded to a fire and put out a warning for everyone that any type of fire spark or cigarette can easily set mulch, brush, or grass on fire. The Vincennes Township Fire Department also posted a warning about the conditions after a field fire this afternoon caused by open burning. Meteorologist Kyle Mounts is standing by now. And Kyle, I think many people may be wondering, okay, so when are we going to get some rain?
Yeah, and we have been waiting a while for that, Nicole. Looks like we're going to have to wait several more days. This number has not been changing over about the last week. 0.04 of an inch of rainfall in the rain gauge in Indianapolis. That's over the last month, last 33 days. So that's why it is so dry out there. The drought monitor map, this is updated every Thursday. So I think as we get to Thursday this coming week, we're really going to see those dry and even moderate drought conditions expanding here across central Indiana as we continue to see some very quiet weather here because of this area of high pressure. That's bringing in those winds out of the east for us. It was a little gusty at times this afternoon. You can see there's a little rain there across portions of Minnesota. that area of low pressure will actually be lifting north and into Canada, not bringing us any wet weather. Right now, we are dry and 60 degrees downtown, but look at these temperatures already in the 40s for you in Bloomington with those clear skies and light winds. So kids heading off to the bus stop in the morning might want to have that jacket around, as we'll have temperatures starting the day in the 40s.
Kyle, thank you. Now to our continuing coverage of the coronavirus and its impact on Indiana. The state health department reports 3 more deaths. 3,281 Hoosiers have now died with COVID-19. More than 111,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. More than 1.8 million people have been tested in Indiana. As the U.S. reaches a grim milestone in the pandemic, a somber tribute at the National Cathedral to the lives lost. Here's ABC's Andrew Dimber with the details.
At the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C., the bell tolling 200 times Sunday afternoon, once for every 1,000 lives lost to the coronavirus in the United States, as the country nears that grim milestone. President Trump offering an ambitious timeline for a vaccine.
Hundreds of millions of doses will be available every month, and we expect to have enough vaccines for every American by April.
Saying his administration will begin distributing the vaccine within 24 hours of its approval, but many may not want it. A new ABC News Ipsos poll showed 53% of Americans surveyed have no confidence at all in President Trump to confirm the safety and effectiveness of a potential coronavirus vaccine. Meanwhile, schools and universities continue to struggle with getting students back to class safely. Parents in Massachusetts furious after a student who tested positive for COVID-19 returned to school.
This one was an egregious violation of the rules.
30 other students from the school now quarantined.
It's just really frustrating. I feel like I'm threatening my family's health.
In Utah, which just recorded a new record daily case total, one high school reporting 40 positive cases, 500 students in quarantine. The American Academy of Pediatrics now with new guidance recommending in part student athletes who show COVID symptoms get an electrocardiogram to determine heart health before being cleared to play. And as Hawaii prepares to reopen to visitors, residents are frustrated with confusing COVID-19 restrictions that have resulted in police issuing 10,000 citations in 1 week.
I've received complaints from even lawyers who couldn't understand what they were allowed to do and what they were prohibited from doing.
Andrew Dimber, ABC News, Washington.
Andrew, thank you. Tonight, 113,000 people are waiting for an organ transplant across the country. The Indiana Donor Network says 1,300 of those waiting are right here in Indiana. An effort to raise awareness for the ongoing need, the annual Strut to Save Lives event was held today at Dillon Park in Noblesville. The event honors race car driver and Noblesville native Brian Clausen, who died from his injuries after a crash in 2016. Clausen was able to save 5 lives and enhance the lives of over 75 people through organ and tissue donation. Dan Gertis is one of those recipients. He has cystic fibrosis and required a lung transplant to survive. Since receiving Brian's lungs, he has developed a close relationship with his family.
It's really hard to put words to how incredible it is to be a part of their family, not just to have their son's lungs, but to be able to be a real part of their family and get to know them.
It's really cool to be able to bring him to our community and share a little bit about who Brian was with him, because it's just incredible that my brother was able to save his life.
Well, Dan tells us since the lung transplant, he is now able to exercise and live his life, a chance he may have never had if it wasn't for Clausen's organ donation. There's a new development stemming from a poisonous letter sent to President Trump. We'll have that for you when the News at 11 continues. Plus, the death of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg is prompting a political firestorm in D.C. Ahead, what we know about President Trump's possible nominees and the GOP lawmakers who just might turn against him.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
There's been an arrest connected to a poisonous letter sent to President Trump. We've just learned a woman has been taken into custody at the New York-Canada border. As we first reported last night at 11, someone mailed a letter laced with ricin addressed to the president. All mail to the White House is screened off-site before delivery, so law enforcement intercepted the package. We are waiting to learn more information about the suspect. Ricin is a toxic substance with a history of use in terror plots. New details are surfacing on the Supreme Court nomination process following the death of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. The open seat on the high court is creating division in the nomination process. Many Republicans see this as an opportunity to strengthen the conservative majority, while Democrats say it would be inappropriate for the Senate to vote on a replacement before the next president is sworn in. The president has released a short list of possible nominees, among them Judge Amy Coney Barrett, a favorite among religious conservatives, and Judge Barbara Lagoa, the first Hispanic woman to serve on the Supreme Court of Florida. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said he would push for a Senate vote, and former President Bill Clinton is also weighing in.
Superficially hypocritical, isn't it? I mean, Mitch McConnell wouldn't give President Obama's nominee, Merrick Garland, a hearing 10 months before the presidential election.
Before news of Ginsburg's passing, Democratic president candidate Joe Biden told reporters he doesn't think he will release any names of potential Supreme Court nominees before the election. And the 2020 election is fast approaching, less than 2 months away. Let WRTV be your central source for all you need to know before November 3rd. Go to our Vote in 2020 digital section. You'll find everything you need to know there, including who's on your ballot, where you can vote and when, how early voting works and when that starts, what mailing in your vote looks like, and any other questions you might have this election season. Keep a tab open at WRTV.com/vote in 2020. A judge is blocking President Trump's ban on WeChat downloads for now. The Commerce Department had issued restrictions against both TikTok and WeChat, citing national security issues. But the federal judge today said the ban represents a violation of free speech and that the Trump administration did not provide enough evidence to address national security concerns. The judge said there are other ways to complete such a ban, like barring WeChat from government devices. The injunction against the ban comes after President Trump on Saturday approved a deal involving TikTok, Oracle, and Walmart. Join WRTV and the Indiana Black Expo for a free Zoom webinar on preparing for job interviews in the virtual environment. It's this Monday from noon until 2 p.m. presented by Cummins with tips from Hiring Hoosiers partner Spirion Staffing. You can then put what you learned to use at our next virtual Hiring Hoosiers Employment Opportunity Fair. It starts at noon Tuesday, September 22nd, and it's also free. Companies looking to hire include FedEx, First Merchants Bank, Indianapolis Airport Authority, Lowe's, and many more. For more information and to register, just go to indianablackexpo.com. Kyle.
Yeah, we're going to continue our trend here of some cool nights and mild afternoons. Out there this evening, we've got 60 degrees in the city. We're kind of holding on to that heat, though, within the Circle City, because you look outside of there, already 49 in Muncie, 48 degrees, Bloomington, Columbus, and Greencastle. And temperatures tonight will be settling back most areas in the middle to lower 40s. 44 in Columbus, and I think around Peru, Logansport, Kokomo, about 42 degrees tomorrow morning. So you might need that jacket for just a little while here. As we break down your Monday forecast, sunshine is back. We will see just a couple of clouds as we go through the afternoon, and temperatures continue their warming trend here. We're into the middle 60s for the lunch hour, temperatures that will make their way into the middle 70s for that afternoon high. And tomorrow afternoon, once again, we are going to have that enhanced fire threat here as we continue with some breezy conditions. Also, of course, the ground is very dry and that lower humidity, much like we had this afternoon. So just avoid burning here as we go through really the next several days. We need some rainfall desperately here in central Indiana, but we are going to have to wait a little while longer. Now, I do think we are going to see some smoke in the sky over the next couple of days. We saw it last week, and it's actually associated with those western wildfires. You can see it's been off to our west throughout the weekend. We've had the blue skies here, but as we go through Monday and especially into Tuesday, I think you'll notice more of that haze in the air as those winds kind of blow that air back in here across central Indiana. Temperature-wise tomorrow afternoon, pretty close to average here. 75 in Muncie, 76 Columbus, Indianapolis, and Lafayette to start off the work and school week. Now, fall officially arrives Tuesday morning at 9:31, but we are going to have some mild temperatures here for the first few days of the new season. Highs in the upper 70s to around 80 degrees for much of the upcoming week. But here is a sight for dry eyes. We need some rain. So here's a look at TrueCast. We got to jump ahead to next weekend. This is Saturday evening. You see not a whole lot going on. Most of the rain is off to our south, but we get into Saturday night and especially Sunday, and we do start to see some widespread rain developing right here across central Indiana. We are going to certainly keep fingers crossed that this forecast holds. Right now, it does look like it will. Over the next few days, though, quite a bit of sunshine. Those temperatures, they will moderate in the afternoons and the overnights as well. Lows will get into the 50s, highs right around 80, and there's that chance of rain going into next weekend.
Kyle, thank you so much. Well, the Colts bring it home in more ways than one. Up next, what it was like for fans as they returned to Lucas Oil Stadium for the season home opener. Well, the Colts lined up this afternoon for their first home game of the season. 2,500 fans got a chance to watch the action inside Lucas Oil Stadium. Everyone had to undergo temperature screenings before entering, and there were quite a few Vikings fans there as well. The attendance number goes up next week. 7,500 fans will be allowed in for the Colts game against the Jets. As for today's game, the Colts trying to avoid an 0-2 start to the season, and the handful of fans wearing blue and white there got to see their team get a win. Brad Brown has a recap of the home opener.
A picture-perfect day downtown for football, but the first part of Sunday's game was anything but pretty for the Colts. After giving up an early field goal, the first possession was brought to a quick stop by an injury to wide receiver Paris Campbell. He missed so much of 2019 with no fewer than 4 injuries. Getting carted off today, looked like he hurt his left knee. Campbell did not return. The opening play of the second quarter saw the Colts in the red zone, but tight end Mo Alley-Cox was unable to squeeze Phillip Rivers' pass. The deflection turns into an interception. Indy's defense, though, was able to get a 3-and-out to hold. Marlon Mack is out for the season, so Jonathan Taylor moves to #1 running back, and he got touchdown #1 on the season. 26 carries this afternoon. He certainly looks like he belongs. Indy taking a 7-3 lead there. More from the defense. After a punt pinned the Vikings inside the 5, Colts able to pressure that into a safety. DeForest Buckner with the sack in the end zone. 2 more points on the board and a 9-3 lead. Before the end of the half, the Colts D gets a takeaway. Pass deflected by Julian Blackman. Khari Willis comes up with his first interception. Great return back into Vikings territory. Indy would get another field goal out of that. They had a 15-3 lead at halftime. Mo Alley-Cox tipped that early pass into an INT, but the rest of his day was filled with some very impressive big gains. 33-yarder as the first half wound down. Colts got a field goal out of that drive. And in the opening minute of the fourth, a great physical play to come up with the catch. 27 yards on that one. Mo averaged 22 yards per grab this afternoon. The Colts would add 6 more points from that drive. Rivers to Zach Pascal, his first TD catch of the season. Minnesota didn't have much to offer today. The Colts power through to the 28-11 win, and even their record at 1-1.
Credit to Flus and the staff. It wasn't just that. It was a whole scheme of things, but really scheme is only the minor part of it, and the defensive staff deserves credit for that, but it's really the players. The players just came and they played with discipline. They played aggressive. We did everything on defense as a unit that you needed to do to stop an explosive run game.
You know, we talked about it all week. It takes 11 of us. On the front side, we needed to set edges, and the back side needed to stay alive and, close, and that's what we did all game. Obviously, there's some details that we got to clean up, but, that was the key points and emphasis of the weekend. That's what we did.
I think this team's built to win in a lot of different ways, and however that is each and every week, I think that our guys, I know our staff, we're all committed to doing that. So it was the way the game was today was our defense was on fire. We were running the ball well, and it was just don't turn it over.
You get a feel for the game, and you understand, okay, we got to set the line of scrimmage up front. We got to make sure that we establish the run. So you really just, you get in that mindset, you know what kind of game it's going to be, so it prepares you for the rest of the 3 quarters.
Taylor finished the game with 101 rushing yards, the first Colts rookie to run for a century in 8 years, got his first touchdown as well. Mo was Rivers' favorite target today, 5 catches for 111. Rivers hit on 76% of his passes today. A couple of those misses were not on him. And what about the Indy D? Only 175 total yards against, 3 picks, 3 sacks. Great way to get a W in week 2. Now, we will have to keep an eye on that Paris Campbell injury. That could prove to be something long-term, which would mean another big change to the Colts' offensive scheme going forward. But Indy avoids the dreaded 0-2 start. 1-1 now. We'll see if they have a little momentum coming back home next Sunday, week 3, when they host the New York Jets. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
Often in the ordinary, you find the extraordinary, and WRTV's Rafael Sanchez found that at Freedom Park in Greenwood. At a distance, it looked like a regular game of baseball. On a closer look, he found courage, character, and competitors on the field.
Set, ready, pitch.
The umpire calls.
Foul ball.
Signs of a summer pastime.
Strike, ready, pitch.
Mark Morris covers his bases by putting his skills to work. The father of 2 is among the visually impaired athletes playing beep baseball.
I was able to run full out, and I was able to play a team sport.
Beep is the sound of the ball, which the pitcher throws to help the players decide when to swing. The bases also beep to guide them to the right place.
Yeah. You got to pay way more attention to detail out here. In football, you can kind of see things and adjust your body. Out here, you can't see it, so you got to be really focused, razor focused on attention to detail.
Set. The pitcher and catcher are the only sighted members of the team.
Working together to put the ball in play. It's absolutely teamwork to its finest point.
Aaron C. is a former football player who lost his vision while in college, now easing in to a new sport.
It's funny because you go from sports my whole life where it's all yelling and loud, and then you come out here and you can hear a pin drop. So it's just a different atmosphere, but it's still the highest level of competitiveness.
Set, ready, pitch. Oh, good swing, baby.
All players are required to wear a blindfold. Since their varying degrees of visual impairment, the blindfold puts everyone on an equal playing field. So on this diamond, a bunch of guys striking against the odds with their hits, home runs, and sportsmanship on display for all to see. Working for you, Rafael Sanchez, WRTV.
Tomorrow, the final day of summer, but no dramatic cool downs in that 7-day forecast. We'll have our afternoon highs around 80 degrees with lots of sunshine. That chance for rain looks like it will come mainly the second half of next weekend. And Nicole, we sure need it.
All right, Kyle, thank you. And thank you so much for joining us. Have a great night.